shoulders of MuteAce, the best Peach out there, I feel like, at this moment.
Yeah, it's amazing. You do see that sometimes, a big life event being perhaps a motivating factor to do well in your athletic endeavors. You know, there's certainly ample evidence of that.
Bold of you to call us athletic, by the way.
Say what?
I said bold of you to call us athletic, by the way.
You know what? I know it's like, oh, esports athletes. It's like, no, bro, we're gamers, and gamers are athletes. I'll say that, and if someone has something to say about it, they can come talk to me personally. But we're going to go to Small Battlefield for game number 1, and indeed, it's going to be the Palutena versus the Mythra of Tispai, I believe.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I'm guessing the fact that if we can skip the names. Okay, you already swapped my names around. I'm guessing the main reason that he switched over this is just because Peach does not do well in the Pyra Mythra. So having a sword character that's not only fast, like Sheik and everything, and also having strong kill power, you kind of want to use Palu instead. Palu's, of course, a very strong character still. People say that, of course, she's like, oh yeah, you know, she's honest. Her honesty rubs over a lot of people's faces, man. Her forward and back air are still irritating to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, honest compared to the character she used to be, where, I mean, come on, the straight-up wheel in the sky kept on turning. Ad infinitum. And Tispai, I mean, yeah, maybe Palutena is not the meta-defining character that she used to be, but she's still really strong, and now having to go up against the character that, you know, some are saying is top 1 in Pyra Mythra.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of debate between, like, how strong this character is. But more importantly, my goodness, the strength of this character almost killed her off that trade. I think it was an up air trade. I'm not too sure. But opting to go with the Mythra instead. At this point, at 137, I feel like these are just going to generally kill. But maybe go with the Pyra instead. The red-haired woman.
Why not? Okay, so Pyra's the red-haired one?
I think Pyra's the red-haired one, yeah.
I'll just go with you on that. I don't know.
Mythra, of course, being the blonde hair, the faster of the two. Pyra being the redhead, the one that hits a lot harder.
Yeah, no, the big old rushdown character in this one. And yeah, it's just so weird having a disjoint and also your rushdown, and also you have a little bit of range with some of the projectiles that you throw out. None of them striking fear into the heart of MuteAce, who is so good at making themselves downright unhittable at times. And playing defensively, able to bring it back, takes that first stock of theirs, only taking 14 points worth of damage, has seeded a little bit here. But again, I mean, if you ain't going to risk it for the biscuit, you can't exactly eat good, can you?
Yeah, that's true. Right now, though, it seems like everything has been going great for Tispai. He's taking back stage control until he calls it the air dodge, hits him with a back air. And Tispai is rocking and rolling. He's looking really good. DFW has shown that they can beat MuteAce. Some of our best players and some of our players that are not even, you know, top 5 in our state, or I should say, have shown they can take games off of him. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Tispai could be one of those people. Oh, called it the air dodge. The L smash is not strong enough, though, with this character.
Not quite yet. Yeah, and maybe that's one of those things that slips your mind. Maybe it kills with Pyra. That's just a shame to have to forget that. Learn it in this fashion because you do not want MuteAce hanging around. Tispai certainly taking that to heart and is going to have to get at MuteAce. Oh, wow. If they're going to get it, they aren't going to be punished super hard for it. Does get the kill off of that down air, and just like that, 2 stocks to 1 in favor of Tispai, who we know from personal experience is more than capable of making some big upsets happen.
Yeah, I mean, if I recall correctly, he did get HM on our PR, so an honorable mention for him. So he's actually one of our most lethal talents that we do have out here in the DFW. Like I said before, man, like, you know, we can give you all the praise in the world, but you do need to close it out. He's trying to get back to stage here, and MuteAce calling out with a jump. It's mono a mono on this last stock. This is a very important game, in my opinion.
I will say there's a lot of to-do that is made about SoCal Unranked whenever you're watching some of the 2GG tournaments. But yeah, DFW Unranked, it is getting up there in terms of quality. I mean, from 6 to some of the unranked positions, it is an absolute it's a knockdown, drag-out war down there. I really don't know what to tell you. MuteAce has been gatekeeping for quite some time, and is capable of beating pretty much anyone in the region. However, MuteAce in very real danger of losing to Tispai if they do cede this numerical lead that they have at the very least. Though they do have Tispai in triple digits and on the ledge.
Yeah, MuteAce was kind of like just holding him down the whole time and just kind of like punishing him. He was really doing a good job of juggling him, got him to 119%, but now's the place of closing it out. And Tispai feeling a little bit of power, but not strong enough, as MuteAce gets the back air and is able to close out that stock. So,
yeah, we were talking about how good that move is still, and you alluded to it at the very beginning. Yeah, like Benedict calling it.
Okay, so here's the main important thing that always drives me nuts about anytime we're seeing like a really great PGR level player versus like, an underranked player of any sorts. MuteAce, of course, maybe check it on something, guy gets some water, something like that, I don't know. But
Dude, you got to do sometimes.
the problem is that when you lose that game 1, it seems like there's a download that just immediately happens. And that download hurts everyone's soul. Because they're like, you know what, that was a close game 1. I can do this. And in game 2, they get blown up by, of course, the MuteAce, the MVD, or whomever. I would hope, for Tispai's sake, and I would hope, me being a big fan of Tispai as well, that he's able to make this comeback here, take a second game, and bring us on to the 3rd game.
Makes you wonder, right? And we got the Sora costume is something else. But I will say, I am a little bit curious because I do think that that game number 1, if nothing else, was recompense for not wearing the Among Us costume on stream. I know it would have been a little weird. Maybe you would have had to work the controller through the foot or something like that, but I just can't help but think that. Either way, small battlefield. Pardon me for opining.
Yeah.
But, either way, the character change for Tispai, very familiar Ike, and I'm not hating this.
I'm feeling some type of way about it. I feel like, the Pyra Mythra was like not doing too bad. It came down to last stock anyway. He just kind of got bullied his last stock. But switching with Ike, Ike is a tried and true character. I think he's one of our best Ikes in DFW, if not the best Ike in DFW.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that he can do this.
I mean,
it's misses the back here. That's unfortunate.
It's not hard to make that claim, is it? And it's a very simple game plan that Tispai brings to the table, but it's also one that can be effective against the Palutena, who maybe wants to overextend once or twice. And that's not exactly MuteAce's game plan. They play a very sound strategy where it's, I mean, you play Smash like Floyd Mayweather boxes. If you make yourself unhittable, then you can't lose the fight now, can you?
Oh my god, he could have chased him off stage. He got the forward there. He could have been so much more deadly in his offense there. And since MuteAce is able to get back to the stage, he had to guess on ledge.
Yeah. Wonderful parry, however, and follows it up with the dash attack. And just winning stage left and right. Ike does not live in the air, dies in it.
Good delay there. Okay, able to get back to stage too. And
that was the right idea.
Right idea, but it was close to killing him. What an up air, barely hit too, and still had enough firepower to knock him out.
That felt like MuteAce playing with their food a little bit, if I'm being completely honest. And that's the whole thing. Yeah, you do have a big sweeping sword, but those moves can be telegraphed awfully easily. And MuteAce more than capable of taking advantage of such.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to notice the same thing I'm starting to notice too. As soon as he gets a hit, MuteAce stays in the advantage for quite a number of a while, man. He got him up to 80%. Also not go for the mix-up, of course, down throw to back air. We do have a Palutena in this region, or formerly had a great Palutena in this region.
Yeah, and this is the problem, though. Tispai had the right idea at first, where you just kind of have to play super confidently. Maybe you feign a little bit of doubt with the character switch to begin with, but you have to go in and just with the trust that your character is going to get it done. 3 stocks to 1 now for MuteAce. I feel like you just see the confidence slowly draining out of Tispai just in terms of the gameplay.
Yeah, I've said this a lot to many different players. I feel like you should definitely stick to your main character and stick it out throughout the whole match. And this Ike has unfortunately not been living up to the hype right now. But as soon as I say that, gets the up air to close out the stock. It's never over to the Fat Lady Sing. Absolutely. But my goodness gracious, she is warming up her lungs for Tispai right now.
Oh, yeah, it's a little tragic. Raw back airs to try to keep the Ike at bay, maybe make them doubt their buttons just a little bit. But Tispai, it has no choice but to keep at it.
Great air dodge there to get out of that situation. Those both of them scared of the tomahawk moment that could have led to both their deaths. I feel like.
You got to cheese a stock. Tispai knows exactly what is required. And you just run out of room for the recovery, and that is going to do it. As MuteAce is going to silence the doubters. Put up a 2-0 on Tispai.
Yeah, I feel like Tispai got a little bit desperate there. When it comes down to those last stock scenarios, I mean, I've been a player that's also, been in those those scenarios where you're fighting against somebody that's really good, and you're like, you know what, I'm done my last stock. Time to go for cheese. No, try to keep your mentality the same as before. Outplay them in neutral. It could be a slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, as long as you win the game, that's all that matters. You don't have to, take us, make this cool read, go for a down air, and get the forward smash. If you play your game and it works out, that's all you need to do. And unfortunately, Tispai got a little bit, discouraged from playing his game, and MuteAce just kind of ran away with it. And then that's unfortunate for Tispai. He still has to lose his bracket, but MuteAce came back to DFW. He's got something on his mind, and that's a big old W for him.
Yeah, and hey, you know what? That's a W that they are more than capable of taking. Any bracket that they enter here, they're a threat to win almost immediately. And seeing that they're keeping on with the Palutena, and you suggested that they were going to go with the Palutena in response maybe to the Pyra and Mythra pick.
Yeah, I think the Pyra and Mythra pick was mainly the idea that it discouraged them. They were like, hey, I don't want to play Peach in this matchup because
Which makes sense.
Peach loses to sword characters, or sometimes quote-unquote sword characters. It doesn't really matter depending on which Peach you ask, but she doesn't do incredibly well against sword characters. I feel like so going to Pyra Mythra, who's basically one of the best characters in the game, not exactly the best idea to go against. But however, it looked like the Palutena worked out, and it looked like the Palutena will be moving on further. I can't wait to see who else he fights in bracket, of course. I mean, DFW has evolved since he's forced left. He's been making, these 9th at regional, or not 9th at regional. Whoops, disrespect. 9th at majors.
Yeah.
Majors, actually, yeah.
Straight up. And I don't believe Burr has entered the bracket tonight, speaking of which, but nevertheless, you saw them in the background with the Sora costume. How could you mistake them for anyone else?
Yeah, but his friend Desley entered the bracket. And of course, you're not too familiar with Desley. A guy that I definitely thought could, should have been on PR too. I have my words to say about that. But Desley is a fantastic hand at DFW, especially as of late since he dropped the Palutena, went to Min Min, and saw Japan was complaining about this character. He was like, you know what, let me go and dip my fingers in there real quick. And my goodness, it has been paying off.
I mean, we're talking about it really only matters that you win. How you do it doesn't matter all that much. As long as it shows up on the score sheet and your name is the one going forward in the bracket and the other guys isn't, I suppose that's really all that truly counts. I will say, though, the Min Min, it's not necessarily... You're not always going to see the standard optimal Min Min gameplay, because if you're playing optimally all the time, that means your opponent knows what they were doing, and that means that they can adapt. Desley, you're seeing them go for a few more aggressive plays from time to time, just enough to mix it up, while also not putting themselves at risk. It's a very calculated Min-Man. It's one that's worthy of respect, and one that's going to try to earn a little bit of respect, certainly here in this bracket, McBenedict, but also in a few